Okay, we have some connectivity issues, but other than that, this should be fine. Can you see everything on your end? There was ever a time to justify replacing the wireless adapter on my desktop, it's now. Oh, but alas, I guess this will be the send-off. Worst case scenario, I'll end the stream early, come back, install it, and then come back. Apologies for leaving. I just decided I would much rather just put up with having to install a new wireless adapter midstream than have to put up with the bad connection. So if I stopped all of a sudden, now you know why. Okay, it's showing up. I might just have to... I'm going to go down for a quick second. Excuse me for a moment. Well, whatever I did, I got it sorted out, so... Oh, how is everyone tonight? Whatever my problem was... Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Just double checking. Looks like I'm only having a few communication problems with it. Not sure what the problem is this time. but might just be a bit of a delay. Okay, well, let's jump right in. And if you can still hear me. So, bit of a disclaimer, this is not how the game would normally look. Different font and the map would be a lot less colorful. There is one other thing that's different from normal. I'm playing with Iron Man mode turned off, simply because there is one particular mode which... mod, I mean, not mode. I guess I'm still getting used to the fact that there's a bit of a delay. So anyways, I put the rules in the description, but general gist of it is stay within the home isles. Don't use my army at all. And defeat the Axis, possibly the Comintern and Japan's faction, and also, although unlikely, Spain, if depending on what they end up going with. It's using only either Royal Air Force and MI6. I can also use the Navy, but I've never actually seen anyone use the Navy alone to win the war. Like, you cannot capitulate someone with only battleships, is what I'm saying. And if you can't tell, I'm using a portrait mod, photorealistic portraits, simply because, well, I wasn't particularly fond of how outdated the portraits for FDR and Hirohito were. But yeah, we're starting as the UK. A regular difficulty, not Iron Man, for the reasons I mentioned. 1936 start. Alright, let's go. This is the one mod I mentioned that's why I'm not using Iron Man mode. Simply because there are some other mods that I play that are total overhaul that I might as well get you used to. Not going to show the changes simply because, well, I'd rather see them as surprises, but you'll see what it's like. Anyways, is Europe. Things are not at the best. As you can see, Czechoslovakia, which doesn't even exist anymore, was divided between, well, the two components. Don't think I need to explain what the deal is with the Brittany Fenty fans over here and the Tim Pool fans over here. And I'm not making the comparison with the former simply because of what she said about some VTubers. She's also made a lot of anti-Semitic statements. As you can see, Italy starts off at war with Ethiopia. They actually got a unique focus tree in the most recent DLC pack. I might play that one day. Hey, if enough people want. Also, getting a new focus tree? Switzerland. They always throw in a wild card one, I guess. Just to show off one of the beefier ones, this is the focus tree for the Soviet Union. So large, even if I zoom out, it doesn't cover the whole thing. Fun fact, you may notice that at Trotsky and Stalin's positions here are kind of contradictory, but there's also a third path you can stick with if you want to go communist. You can also, of course, overthrow the Soviet, but that's for another stream. This guy right here, he was actually a third choice the Soviets could have gone with, and also the only one that George Orwell didn't have a problem with. If you want to see what his economic policies were like, that's the main difference between the three. Just look at China under Deng Xiaoping. That name might come back in a future stream. Anyways, first action is we gather up all our divisions into one army. It's been a while since I played the UK. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to modify the colonial garrison template so that it's only 5 of these infantry divisions later. Or maybe add some support or equipment and artillery, but this is going to be more than enough for what I'm going to use. So I will just put them all in one army, switch them over to the colonial garrison, which gives me a lot of stuff back, and just have them fortify the naval bases and victory points. The coastline paradox. Really depends on the map. Okay, that's a bit more than I would have guessed. Yeah, that's accurate. Only the victory points and ports are what I need to fortify. For commander, I'll just put down Bernard Montgomery. You will be seeing more of this guy in a mod. And for the other commander, let's go with... Looks like they missed a few portraits. Tom Moore, simply because they actually added his portrait to pass. For production, we do not need light tanks. We will need guns and artillery. Let's see here. As you can see, we do not have any up-to-date planes. That will be one of the first things we research. We do have a fighter. As I thought, that was a bomber, not a fighter. You can use the hulls as you want. Just going to have the ships all go in production. And I already start the game with the biggest fleet as the UK, but I'm a Zerlane fan, so there's literally no harm in letting them finish out. Besides, I'll just be making convoys. Since I have some factories, I guess I'll make some trucks. I know I said I wouldn't need much in the way of troops, but I do need to garrison the colonies. Plus, I can send stuff to other people. Although I won't need to garrison the colonies for long. Note to self, requested the ability to sort production by factory type. Now let's start off with the first part of this challenge, or rather one of the two parts, the spy agency. This is where the special guest will appear. For research, I'm going to go with the three staples of mechanical computing: in basic machine tools and construction. And for my fourth research, I already have the second in tiers of the small and medium airframe, so let's go with basic large, since I'm going to want to make some strategic bombers. For construction, let's build some civilian factories. I currently have a penalty to building in mills, so I'm going to want to wait a little on that. I'll just build like 4 or 5, and the ones with the highest level of infrastructure. I could also build railroads, but I guess I should do that. I actually thought about like getting all this set up in advance. If you would prefer me to do that, let me know and I will take that into consideration. I forgot that I have an extra factory, but let's put that on armored cars. When I think about it, I should probably also put one on trains. I'm not going to use armored cars to actually fight, although hypothetically I would and just say that it's an SAS raid or something, but that's mainly for garrison. They're the best choice for garrisoning things. As you can see, our agency is forming. We have quite a few decisions, can't do any of them until I actually get some political power. There's actually an exploit which, if you delete pretty much the entire Royal Navy's capital ships, aircraft carriers, and battleships, you can use it to gain war goals in other countries, which I am not going to do. Can't really do anything about the missing production, so the only thing I can really do right now is select a national focus. British focus tree is pretty decent. We're going to be staying with this path. Keep this section in mind for later. So, let's start off with limited rearmament. Game speed to 5. Just wanted to make sure that my F keys were working. And the F3 key wouldn't work, and I actually had to switch the switch out, replace the key switch on it a few days ago. Oh right, I almost forgot about the Navy and the Air Force. I'm just going to gather them all up in London and place them. This is much faster than having to go around the world. I'm leaving the ones on carriers alone simply because there's literally no reason for me to bring them in. I mean, you can, but oh, and also the Navy. I'll just group these up into 2 fleets of... Normally people just group them all into one, but we will be fighting in the Pacific as well as the Atlantic, so it's better... Oh, and before I forget it, one other thing. Where is she? Ah, the pride of the fleet. You get to stay in port. And I'm not saying that because of my dislike of the HMS Hood or anything. Fantastic ship in Azure Lane. It's just, as you can see here, we have a war support bonus from her. And that does actually make a difference, since if I lose her, I get hit with strikes. I just realized I could have put them all under one commander, but oh well. Probably going to need to get up in a few seconds to get a drink of water. Now let's actually yeah, I don't need to do anything, so let's start the game. Although there is one thing I should do. Okay, that confirms an idea I had is plausible. I'm not going to say what it is just yet, but let's just say it has something to do with custom division names. And I will implement it when playing as Germany. Now, you may have noticed that in the description I said that I might end up having to fight the Soviet Union and Japan. That really depends on how long it takes me to beat Germany, since what I have in mind does mean I could end the war before Germany ends up demanding the Sudetenland like they did historically. Just keeping watch of this since nothing else will happen for a while. I would normally return territory, and by the way, there's the death of King George. I'm going to be taking the focus steady as she goes once I begin rearmament, simply because there's an abdication event in Crisis Chain, and if I don't take it, I might get tempted to accidentally take a decision that will let me go off the course I'm planning on following. Anyway, as you can see, Edward the Eighth, not exactly the most stable monarch. Just gonna rate out the division symbol since MI6 is up. I'm going to start off with invisible ink simply because it's one of the 2 staple texts. There's one thing that I've always found odd about this game. There are 4 or demonetized regimes in the Americas. I'm not using that because I'm afraid of getting hit with restriction or anything. I just think it sounds funnier than saying fascist. I will probably be banning this one. I could either accept the Emperor of Ethiopia's request for embassy, or I could reject it. On one hand, accepting this means that the Ethiopians will automatically join the Allies. On the other hand, if I reject it, they'll usually go to Sweden, and I can get Sweden in the Allies. And again, I don't really want to drag more countries in than necessary, so welcome aboard, Lord Emperor Selassie. As you can see, the supply system can be a bit annoying. Should probably build a railway connection. Been a while since I played as the UK, otherwise I probably would have thought ahead about this. As you can see, this is not going well for the Ethiopians. Longest I've seen them last is usually up until I think August. I've never seen them actually push the Italians out. If you're curious why Switzerland is improving relations, it's just for an economic focus. I do not have to worry about the Swiss deciding to go, that they want to demonetize themselves. Invisible ink, and after I get these pills, it is time for our special guest to make his appearance. As you can see, Dusko Popo, the man that I had my PNG avatar based off of. You will also see Nancy Wake in the future. Now, you're probably wondering, how much chaos can I wreak with just one spy? Not much, to be honest, but I will soon have more. Alright, chat, it is time for a very important decision. I am going to be going down a path that will reshape the Empire's borders in a different way, and it concerns Northern Ireland. And I'll get back to that in a sec, but I want you to think about whether or not you'd like me to keep it. Anyways, 2 things happened. Germany remilitarized the Rhineland. France just issued a diplomatic objection. They actually would mobilize in response, but I've never seen them do so on historical. And the Montreux Convention. This is actually something that isn't talked about. Turkey actually used to be part of the Ottoman Empire, as you probably know. And long story short, after the Turks fought a war of independence against a coalition consisting of the British, the French, and the Greeks, which originally wanted to carve up Turkey into a bunch of puppet states, a treaty was reached that gave Turkey its current borders in return for demilitarizing the Bosphorus Strait. This event means that the Turks get to remilitarize it. It's never gone to war, and even if it did, I could just say, yeah, I'm not touching that, so I'm just going to back the Turks. Steady as she goes for our second in focus. Our third one is not going to be what you think. As you can see, nothing bad happened with the Bosphorus Straits. I keep on having Discord notifications pop up. I should probably have muted them, but oh well. As you can see, we have Mr. Upa of just us gathering intelligence. I almost forgot that I should probably be exercising these planes, both so that they have experience and so that I can actually gain the experience needed to modernize the designs. Going to buy all my oil from the yeah, let's stick with the United States. They're the best. Ooh, actually, I could get more or bang per buck from Malaya. Might as well. I'll use them while I still have them. Ooh. And we had the second London Naval Conference. I'm not doing anything regarding the Netherlands and their trade aid gate simply because on historical they will always choose to go with me. Like, if the Germans get a concerningly high lead, I might. Anyways, as you can see, the other branch has gone away. There's a reason for that. They added a feature that basically makes it so that if you take a focus that makes one branch of a focus tree obsolete, they get rid of the focus. Something that's quite convenient. They actually added it in the Spanish focus tree. I cannot go down the economic path, and I could get started on other things related to how we'll handle the war, but instead I'm going to do the least British thing possible. Decolonize. The times are changing. It is clear that independence movements will only continue to spring up across the empire and in ever stronger incarnations. If we do not wish to be forced into pouring increasingly vast resources into suppressing these movements, then we must acknowledge that our empire has run its course and now must be allowed to find its own path into the world. You may be wondering why I'm doing this. There is a reason, which I will explain after I finish this focus. Normally, you would want to use this focus to go communist, as you can see, since it boosts the party popularity of that ideology. But we cannot do that since we chose the path that has a stick to democracy. So why do that? It is because of this. The number of spies. The more spies we have, or rather the more puppets we have, and the more faction members we have, the more spies we can gain. I forget how many puppets you need to gain a new spy. We can actually gain 3 without any puppets. Although I'm not going to hire the spy master just yet, I want to hire this guy simply because he'll make it so I can get to the spy master much faster. I would lose access to him if I did no further appeasement, so I'm going to go down the home defense path since I don't really need to fight any unnecessary wars, and the path that I'm not going down is mainly for going on the offensive, which we're. Ah, good, I am getting air defense. Was a bit borked when I played it's the United States. Yeah? I will be right back. I have to take care of something really quick. I'm going to just set the speed down to 1 so that while I am gone... Actually, I'll go with 2 just so that while I am gone, something does happen. Apologies, it's just that at I still live with my parents, and my dad had just prepared burgers. We can become the spy master now, which grants us an extra spy. And let's see here. Let's go with the naval department. Now that I'm back, we'll put it back to 5 speed. First bit of research done. There are two things you can do in regards to research: dispersed or concentrated. I always go with dispersed simply because with concentrated, your factories are more vulnerable to bombing. I will be hiring an advisor for the Air Force soon. Quite a few options. The Air Reformer will grant me the most, so that's what I'm going to go with. As you can see here, we have the abdication crisis that happened in real life, all because the king wanted to marry an American who was also in the middle of getting a divorce. Now, I think I'm not going to go into too much detail, but long story short, the American part, I think that they could have gotten over, but it was the divorcee that was the real problem. Even though I'm pretty sure that the reason that, as the head of the church, the King of England could just say, you know what, this is perfectly fine from now on. I'm not sure how much authority they have, but anyway, we have no choice but to force King Edward to abdicate. I'm not sure if that was the same amount we lost, but hey, we have the king back. Yeah, well, I guess I could switch it over. You know what? It's not worth the effort since I'm going to be decolonizing anyway. First spy I upgrade is Air Force next, and speaking of which, it's time for another spy. Let's go with Miss Wake. You may be wondering what these symbols are. That indicates a skill they have, although in this case, there are some such as the double agent. As I gain members into my factions, I will be able to recruit agents from them directly without having to go behind the scenes. As I mentioned, you will see Miss Wake in a future mod playthrough. If you're aware of what was happening in history at the time, Spain will break out into a civil war. Nothing we can do about it. God save the king. I would like to be able to go down the air focus branch, but I can't, and I can't do the shadow scheme, so my options are home defense or continue decolonization. I gain political power for decolonizing, so let's do that. Speaking of which, time for the elusive gentleman to gain yet another spy. We already have 3. Fun fact about this news event, as you can imagine, different countries have different reactions. Obviously, the French and Americans will wonder if we've gone insane, but oddly enough, the Soviets have the exact same reaction, despite the fact that, you know, they've kind of been speaking in favor of decolonization at this time. The Dutch haven't been in touch at all by Germany. Ethiopia is actually holding out for a lot longer than I would have guessed. Basic large airframes are done. What should I do next for research? This will boost our defense, so let's go with this. And let's go with MPs just because as they provide good garrison. And I wasn't exercising all of these earlier because I didn't want to drain my oil supply, but now that most of my fighters are done, I'm good. Let's go for the very pricey encryption agency, which, if you don't know what that does. And this is why I turned off Iron Man mode. Whenever something major happens, be it the Spanish Civil War, Japan attacking China, or the start of of World War II. One of these will happen with an event. This burger is actually quite good. Anyways, this will break out into a civil war happened, but there is actually going to be a third contender showing up. This can actually break out into a 6-way conflict if Portugal gets involved. If you want to see me do that, I will be more than happy to do so one day. But for now, that can wait. I can recruit another spy. Let's go with Juan Pujol. Simply because he's part German, meaning that infiltrating Germany will be much easier with him. If I can get someone who can boost ideology, that would be great. If it seems like the game pauses a few seconds, because I'm not playing on Iron Man, it saves automatically at the start of each month. We can finally get the Chief of the Air Force. Hello, Cyril. Welcome aboard. Probably should have gotten him earlier, but oh well. Nothing I can really do about that now. Fun fact about this event. There's actually another variation, and you can see if something happens beforehand. Mechanical computing is done. And so let's work on building some synthetic refineries which turn coal into oil. Almost said turn oil into coal. As we can see here, we have another spy, but I'm actually not going to recruit one just yet because there is actually a way we can recruit from other countries using this focus. I probably should have grabbed it earlier in hindsight, but oh well. We can do the shadow scheme now, so I'm going to do that because it lets us go down the rest of this branch. And we will gain a research slot eventually. Quite a few different operations I can undertake, as you can see, including the ability to orchestrate coups. I'm not going to go over that because there is a different way to orchestrate a coup that I will be going for. Speaking of which, who should I recruit a spy from? France would be pointless since they'll be joining us. Let's go with an Italian. Did we get anyone useful? No, but they can still infiltrate the country. I could wood up my conscription law, but I'll get Chamberlain, who will reduce war support, and we don't really need that many men now, so... And I'm not Portugal wants to purchase our ships? Sure. I'm not going to up my economy law simply because Chamberlain makes it hard to keep it. Although there is one... I don't have enough of command points right here. Let's see here. I'm going to compromise and demand that at the Bulgarians get an official treaty so I can at least say that I tried. And I'm not going to lift their army restrictions. They will join the Axis, so... And Ethiopia has capitulated. But since they lasted long enough... As you can see, they're part of the Allies now. Should we manage to liberate Ethiopia, they will come back on the map. China is also improving relations with us. They will get Hong Kong back in this game. And there goes my chance of joining Niji Sanji, but oh well. And just... let's see here. Let's infiltrate the... What is the... Luftwaffe, that's right, that's the name. What happened to Mr. Pooljo? Must have disappeared. I'm going to basically alternate. And this is the thing I was considering. You know what? The Irish can have Northern Ireland back. We don't really care. I've never seen any of my puppets research or dispersed industry. You'd think they'd follow their leader's example, but oh well. Let's boost our artillery since while we won't be going on the defensive, we will need it for... On the offensive, we will need it for defensive purposes. And let's get anti-tank guns for similar reasons. I can always lend-lease stuff, one worst case scenario. As you can see here, we have George Orwell as a supporting author figure. Do you think Kathleen's supposed to be Churchill's daughter, sister, niece, or what? She's a seducer who's also tough, meaning that she's less likely to be captured. Welcome aboard. Separated at birth? You be the call. I'm not putting Mr. Pope on any of these missions simply because if I lose strength of the network strength, I will be unable to carry them out until I rebuild it. So let's build an Asian section. We've withdrawn from contested territories. Let's get started with the defense. And shall we? air superiority for even more air experience. And I've got quite a bit. Branch independent spirit. This is basically a long-term investment, but hey, it'll be worth it. If there was one that let me design fighters for cheaper, I would have gone for that instead. Speaking of things we can do, we can decrypt, although I should probably do some research first. I won't be using it, but just so that I don't have the notification, I'll just go with this. And just so that I don't have the dock notification annoying me, after these ships finish up, I will build some convoys. That reminds me, I should probably exercise the ships and their airplanes for even more army air experience. This is a unique feature, like I can gain them I can use generals from countries that are currently exiled. Obviously, it's not going to be something I'll be doing as per the rules of this challenge. Yeah, as you can see here, that's the main reason why I did not want to exercise my entire air force, but I can just buy more oil. Well, that's unusual. I've seen this before, but haven't in a while. Fun fact about this portrait, it's actually inaccurate. He should have black hair. He's not blonde. I'm trying to figure out if the car list will spawn. They're one of the 4 factions that can spawn in the Spanish Civil War. Technically, there are 6, but only 4 can show up in a single war. The 6 I was talking about earlier is if Portugal goes down certain paths. And even then, it's more like and they'll side with one of the 2 factions. Quite a bit of political power. Do I have any other air? I do not. I guess I could go with this guy, so I stop getting supply notifications. I'm just going to upgrade the rail network to level 2 simply because as an army does march on its stomach, especially in this game, and hey, the sooner I get that, the better. And Northern Ireland is back. Feels like I would lose the core since but hey, ain't nothing I can do about it. It's not like it's my game. Let's do prepare for the inevitable. Well, the earlier we take it, the better. And while I'm not going to be able to use to construct military factories as effectively for a while, I might as well get in my production for them set up. Let's go with logistics companies. Problem with this is that since so much of the tech I'll actually be using is in the future, or I actually have a hard time deciding what I want to research or to kill time. I could try infiltrating the Luftwaffe, but I'd rather not. So let's infiltrate whatever it is the Italian Air Force is called. And that's the second civil war I'm talking about. If you it is possible to delay the uprising, and if the anarchist isn't Republican Spain, these guys, but it's very hard, and you can only do it if you go down on certain paths, which the Republicans did not. Should probably be deciphering in the German cipher. Psychological warfare. Not able to utilize it fully, but I will soon enough. I can actually design a new plane now. I'm just going to look up what the best design is. Now, it used to be that you could just boost the thrust, but you actually need to put thought into it. This looks like a passable fighter. Not the best, but hey, as long as I can get multiple pulls of them out, that's all that matters. Yeah, it's not that much of a difference to keep the engine 2s. So, I'll just keep this design for the Hurricane. Oh, and I should probably change the appearance. Once I get some more factories, I'll add bomber. I'll work on some bombers. And goodbye to weekly stability. Oh well. With this upgrade, I can start boosting the popularity of other ideologies, namely democracy. It depends on what ideology I am, but for now, I can't really do anything else, so, let's go for better counterintelligence. France should be asking to join the Allies relatively soon. Actually, I just realized I could be getting the economic bonuses instead, so I'm going to switch over to those. Ooh, Hindenburg incident. This would actually lead to a very different event involving Rudolf Hess's flight if we were going to let France fall, but we're not, so... And Japan's going to attack China any second now. No comments. Looks like my planes did not entirely the exercise. I should probably build some more civilian factories first. I don't have any slots I can put them in, so... Oh well. We will be using a lot of strategic bombers, so let's fill them all with large bomb bays. Bomber sights and do not have doesn't radio navigate. Okay then. I just realized that there's no point in making these armored cars since I won't be occupying the territory, but I can always lend-lease them, so no harm done. Okay, before this happens, I'm going to indicate Clement Attlee, since later on some events boosting the popularity of communism will happen. And unfortunately, we have the man whose bad judgments and let Hitler get quite a bit further than he should have. After this, we'll go back to decolonization. Going to ignore this branch for now, and instead I'm going to focus on these ones. Ooh, that's nice. Good day to be a pilot in this mod. In this game. Fun fact, you can actually get Amelia Earhart as an ace for the US if you get that event. Once the US goes to war, obviously, but still, I might play a game against the US in the near future. Oh yeah, and by the way, they made the tank research slightly worse. Since you used to be able to get mediums right away with the 1934 medium tank frames, but they removed that. Paradox doesn't like us to have fun. Let's research super heavy battleships so I can name one after everyone's favorite size queen of a VTuber. And there's the war between Japan and China, super event. All of these songs are public domain, so I don't think I'll get copyright struck. After I finish this operation in Italy, I'm going to, or once I get it more spies, I'm going to start boosting democracy in Germany. I cannot flip them, but it will destabilize the hell out of the country. Doctrines. Normally I'd go with battlefield support, but for this case, strategic destruction is what I want. Because I'm going to be bombing the hell out of Berlin. Paradox really should add an option to just let you automatically exercise planes the second they don't have a full experience. I cannot issue gas masks yet, so... Ooh, but I can do general rearmament, which will let me get to the... Or an extra research slot. Wait a second. Oh, yeah. Thought I could do the previous. No comment on world events. I could get started on more advanced instruction text, so I'll... Hey, but this is worth going ahead of time. I could go for early mobilization, but I'm going to... But the way things are going to go down, I might be able to go to partial mobilization or even war economy early. We will accept France's request to join the Allies. I could say no, but why would I? Since... I feel like I should have gained a spy from that. Perhaps I became a spy master too early? Oh well, 4 spies I can still wreak plenty of havoc with. Now, as my challenge said that I could not have any troops in Europe, I did not say anything about my air force, so I will relocate everything to Germany for... I do not have one that's within striking distance of East Berlin. Unfortunately. I'm not going to fully decolonize until after I've taken care of the Germans, but for now... Okay. I still get the same amount of resources from them, so that's fine by me. I might build one of these. Is there anyone else I should infiltrate? The Italians probably have some... you know what, let's actually get started on the Soviets. No, wait, I said I'd boost the boost democracy to this. Okay, things are gonna start going down soon. And there's actually somewhere better that I can put all my planes in. Alright, it's probably because I'm not using one of my own airfields. I'll do Royal Ordnance Factories next, then divert fighter or bomber production. I have plenty of fighters for now, so I'll divert fighter production. The hit to the number of fighters I'll be producing is a bit painful, but it'll be worth it in the long run. Since we get to use more of our factories. And the Spanish Civil War is going to come to an end soon. I guess I could give Greece an investment this time. They will be joining the Allies through their focus tree later, so why not? I was trying to remember if I had two or three bonuses. I can afford this, but so why not? And soon enough, Czechoslovakia. I've always wondered why they chose to limit ship size instead of overall military spending. I'm going to want to get self-government for Africa done soon. Maybe I should have done that sooner. Oh well. What I can really do about it now. As you can see, we've actually done some damage. It's their propaganda. Did they get rid of the notification that lets me know when an agent's been killed? Looks like I've stayed away from this game for too long. Oh well, I can still will achieve my goal if I stop up the Germans and well, yeah, it looks like they got rid of the agent killed notification. Let's go with the Jane. I need some aluminum. Fortunately, 1 second. Let's actually just yeah. I can buy some from my new ally. From let's do the Italian cipher next. Could have sworn they would have accepted my attaché, but oh well, nothing you can do about that. That's different. Normally they would have accepted it, no questions asked. Not much has changed since I last into the last DLC. This line did not used to be here. I keep on thinking it's a demilitarized zone because of the color. And Germany is going to demand the Sudetenland. I'm not... Perhaps... Alright, I could have hired a military... theorist. Oh well, nothing. Well, I am a bit rusty at this game, so... I'll just do this since I have the political power, but... they will cave to me on historical, which I have it set to. I'm cutting into it with some propaganda, which might not seem like much, but I do want it taken care of. If I had more spies, I'd be stopping Hungary from flipping, but... I wonder if Poland will act differently since Germany won't be there to demand Danzig by the time I'm done with this. And yes, I am deviating from history in a different way. Let's get these planes back up. Oh hey, they're actually starting to replace the model. Guess that means I've fully caught up. Any second now, I should be getting a particular event. The Munich Conference. If you've studied any amount of World War II history, as you probably know, this is where the British decided that the Sudetenland, which, in addition to being populated by ethnic Germans, was a very large manufacturing base of arms, was something that Germany should be given in return for what basically amounted to delaying the war. Historically, I would say the Czechs are on their own. But since I'm not doing that, let's defend the Czechs. And I can finally use their airfields. I'm not moving my bombers in there, but in the meantime, let's actually start get preparations done. And I'll also make sure the tactical bombers get to join in on the fun as well. Oh, I should probably add the railroads to the Strat bomber. Sudeten crisis. Hungary flipped. And Germany is at war with Czechoslovakia. That's a lot of countries in the Allies. fun fact about this guy, he's actually Jewish. So, in other words, it's a bit inappropriate that France is led by him against Hitler. And also a less fun ooh. Okay, will Italy join is the question. And they have. This I'm actually not okay. This might be a tiny problem. Then again, and if things go a certain way, Italy is being a lot less aggressive than I would have expected. And that is not entirely the event I would have wanted, but still, as you can see, this is the Oster conspiracy, which is where basically some people in the Wehrmacht decided, you know what, let's get rid of Hitler. If Chamberlain had said no to Hitler's demand like I did, this is one of the outcomes. The other one, in case you're curious, civil war. Oh hey, they didn't lower the cap. You will be appearing again on one of my streams. One day. Why the hell did the Germans get docking rights from Tanzania? They don't even have any ships in that area. The rest of these do make sense, but still. Will... Well, I did technically take out Hitler. I guess my options are either I decide, you know what, I'm putting boots on the ground after all, or I wait for the Polish to get called in, which honestly would actually kind of be better at this point. That's what I'll do. I'm going to be very cautious about who I call in. I do not want to call in anyone that borders Libya or Italian East Africa. So, Sierra Leone, yes. Crucial states, where's that? Nigeria, Guyana, Zambia, the Bahamas, Malawi, Belize, is yes. Malta's a bit risky since are practically right next door, but everyone else, you are more than welcome to join as long as you are not border territory controlled by Italy. I'll let Cyprus join. Oh, that's what the UAE. What? Oh, that's the United Arab Emirates. Could have thought they were reusing a portrait from somewhere else, but oh well. I mean, technically they are, since it's the Greek, since it's a generic one, but I thought it would have been like one of the Greek ones. I guess I probably should have added a caveat that if I manage to last the whole stream, I'll be fine. Can I cause a coup? Not yet, but soon. If I'd remembered that at one agent sooner, to put that agent back on sooner, I probably would have actually been able to execute it. But nothing I can do. I'm still alive. Will Lithuania accept? I've never actually seen them in this happen exactly. And they did. That's right. I've never seen this decision before. Should probably put some fighters. Huh. Or maybe not. Oh hey, the Czechs are actually making a breakthrough. Good job, Czechoslovakia. Oh, that reminds. Here, have 10,000 guns. Same for you. This is the longest I've seen Luxembourg alive for. Take some weapons and artillery. As a reward for your heroic sacrifice. Why isn't Italy joining is the question. Let's see if the Portuguese want to join. Up here we go. Fun fact, that is the oldest alliance in history. Thank you, France. And Poland's about to join. This is either a good or a bad thing, depending on how many forces are at the forces the Germans have at the Polish border. Let's guarantee they're independent. And I need to get Nancy Wake free, but fortunately I can do that by simply... At this point, my goal is to really keep this guy alive. If I can just get get the stability a few points lower, I can... Can I? Almost. I can orchestrate a coup. This is going to be the riskiest operation and I will undergo, but if it... On second thought, let's put Odette in charge. That way... Where should I orchestrate it? Let's do... Hessen. That's where... That's where... Well, I thought about changing it to Vienna, but... Still, since Germany has multiple fronts to contend with, this should actually be interesting to see how well Poland does, since normally they have the unfortunate fate of getting overrun, but I'm actually optimistic that they might be able to put up more than a fight. Fun fact about that, if I was playing as the US, I could use that at event to go to war with Japan early. Keep that in mind for a future stream. At this point, I'm just researching stuff so I don't get the notifications. You'd think the German economy would have collapsed by now, since, if you don't know, it was entirely dependent on seizing gold from captured nations. Germany should be attacking. Is the AI actually going to have the Soviets be the ones to justify? That would certainly be kind of annoying, to be honest. Why hasn't Italy joined by now? You'd think they would have. Oh, right, Albania. It can't be because that the Germans are attacking because of the date. Normally, if the AI gains a war goal, they'll use it as soon as possible if there's not like a non-aggression pact present or something. Wonder what will happen. What will go off the rails this time? That should keep my aluminum demand low, but I should probably build some refineries. Apologies if it seems like nothing. Oh, some. Wait. Okay, all that happened was Germany pushed the Czechs back a tiny bit, but the second in Poland gets dragged in, all that's going to happen is Silesia will probably be crushed. Let's go. First time I've seen that event, actually. Ooh, the Germans made a breakthrough. And again, there is a layer of backup forts, if I'm not mistaken, so just one. Plus, since we denied the Germans, they'll still have to deal with. Okay, this is concerning. Is Italy afraid of joining? Like, are they aware that the on to what I have planned. We'll find out if it works in a month. It appears the Germans have boosted their own counter defense measures, and I forgot to reassign my agents. Ah. What are they doing? Extra research slot. Feels odd that they aren't going around at water. I haven't. This is not the weirdest I've seen, but still a bit strange. Perhaps I should have played with Outlaw Resistance so I could just straight up use coups the old-fashioned way. Soviets aren't justifying on Poland, even though... Ah, my civil war has fired off. Come on in, Germany. You are more than welcome to join us. This is going to cripple the Germans, as you can see. It'll be funny if Italy is the only thing left in the Axis. And since I no longer need to put spies on board, for now, Mr. Popov can go back to the UK, and instead, let's work on Italy, shall we? If I can get it would be fun to get rid of both Hitler and Mussolini with coups in this game. Huh. The Germans actually in Republic, which, by the way, is not what you know, something that you see if you flip Germany to democracy normally, is actually doing quite well. I wonder if I'll get to see the new decision paradox added. I've never seen this event before. Honestly, I wouldn't be bothering with couping the Italians if they'd actually joined the war, but alas. Oh hey, Berlin fell. cannot attack Italy just now. Still, what will it actually... Oh, wait, they can go to war with Greece. Yes, I'll guarantee the Greeks... Is it a bit late to build civilian factories? Yes, but I am using... more factories is for trade rather than in production, so it makes sense. Getting a bit low on stability. And the Germans are done for. Completing half my objective isn't bad. Okay, I'm going to slightly modify the victory condition since Italy doesn't... Oh, never mind. Seems a bit late for that, especially since I've actually seen this play out, a similar scenario like this play out before, and Italy lost. Although there is one thing that's slightly different. I could actually see the Italian Social Republic form. That would make things worth it. Okay, the Soviets are getting involved. On Germany, hurry up. Then again, it would actually be funny if when Germany does war with the USSR, they declare war capitulated. Let's hope the Spanish do not decide to join, because that could be problematic. French still have their disjointed government spirits. Can they? They cannot. Although if they can last 5 more months, they can remove it. They don't remove that spirit, in case you're curious. All that has to happen is Germany takes Paris, and, well, it's game over. Or for the French. I'll just embargo them. Do not feel like fighting the United States, since Monroe Doctrine's in effect. I just realized I probably should have gotten a plane designer sooner. Oh well. Here, take some guns. And if that means you get to advance further. Okay, so I was right. It is logistics. If that's the case, I'll just send them some convoys. Always as well. Up. There we go. Germany has capitulated. Yeah, I mean, they still are present in East Prussia, but hey. With that taken care of, Italy is going to be surprisingly easy. And if Poland actually decides to just part ways with their eastern territories voluntarily, then I actually can call it a game. And since I don't have to fight in Germany anymore, let's redirect the Air Force. I wonder if I'll get... I probably won't get to see the Italian Social Republic since Germany needs to be alive. That could be a fun idea for a historical US game, seeing if I can last long enough until that pops up. Let's break the Italian cipher, since if I was allowed to use forces, what I would do now is, oh hey, I can recruit more. I was hoping that I could get auto scores. Hitler must have gotten him first. Very beefy trait. Trying to remember when I get Chamberlain. Either the event and for the Tangiers thing is broken or Spain backed down. Either way, good. Well, at least East Mr. Popov is still around. Let's recruit a Russian. I guess I should say Soviet in this context. Well, I did not guarantee the finish, and neither did France. So, hey, it looks... Actually, no, wait. The Soviets are still justified. Why on earth? Still, this is definitely... an interesting decision. I'm only doing this because if you switch it directly, it loses some productivity, whereas if you we leave at least one on the old one, it will reduce its full productivity. What is your... Are you... No, you're still... Guns... As are you. Oh, are you low on trucks? I can fix that. Well, that explains a lot. If I had thought about this beforehand, I would have gone with diplomatic training earlier, but oh well. Perhaps this will get the Soviets to back down. I mean, they are doing a take claims. Oh wait, it is a conquer war goal. Well, still, they have a while to use it. So as long as they don't declare war on me before... On the plus side, this is probably the longest I've seen this guy's... I survive on a historical game. I actually have seen Poland beat Germany once. In a game I unified France and Spain together. Soviets do have claims on these territories. I wonder if that means the Germans will come back onto the map since they capitulated. I've never seen the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact fire off while Germany... Come to think of it, which Germany will... Oh... Well, then again, since the Soviet... The Polish... I could invite Lithuania to the faction. Well, this is certainly relevant to current events. Will Germany still do Operation Barbarossa, is the question. That is not where I would have expected Germany to appear on the map. Polish are doing better than I would have expected. Will Latvia get it called in? I know I said that defeating the Soviets would be an objective of this, but I would have expected us to have already finished off Italy by now, so I'm going to say that this is a draw, since I did at least. And hey, I at least got to see a different event, so I'd say that this stream did have some success. Perhaps I should have done global defense so I could have dragged the Italians in earlier. And I probably should have exercised my army. There is one way I could guarantee Italians safe in defeat, but that would require me to cheat. Well, Finland is going to disappear from the map soon. The Italians are not putting up any air defense. Are they really expecting this? Well, that does explain. Italy is doing war with Greece. Yes, as drag the Greeks in and divide up your and prepare to get taken out in Albania, especially since you have no one to bail you out this time. If it wasn't for the Soviets, I could probably get. Miska Arbeck. I think I'll rescue Renette. So yeah, I'm starting to realize that at attempting those two particular challenges without actually making sure what I wanted to do was possible was not the best of ideas. I guess if I was to try this again, what I would probably consider doing is seeing if I could... and is dropping a save right before the Austro conspiracy fires off so that I can force the event that would end the war sooner or to fire off. enough, but hey, we at least got rid of the funny Austrian painter. And I mean that in the good lord sense. And we unintentionally recreated current events, and in Eastern Europe, Slava Ukrainia. If only I could get the United States involved. Wait a second. No, I cannot justify on them. Or them, for that matter. If only there was a way I could get tension to 100. It without cheating. I was going to say I should have left the Polish to their own devices, but then I realized the French probably would have guaranteed them, so... It's nearing the end of the stream, so I think I will fully decolonize, then call it a stream. But before I do that, let's bring another person in who will come into play in a future stream on board. Okay, that's the other thing I wanted to wait for. I could put Halifax in charge, but let's go with Churchill since he's who was supposed to be it. Oh hey, that's an interesting portrait. I probably should have dropped a save beforehand so I could have seen what Halifax's portrait was, but oh well. Here, take all my light tanks since you're clearly in need of them. I'm still... Okay, I don't know why... That's odd. The event that should have... Wait, did I select the right event? No, wait, they're not in the axis, so I did select the right one. Well, Poland still stands, so I'll just say that... I'll just... Interesting to have Churchill's two most famous speeches occur after Germany fell. Oh. Yeah, another event that I cannot do. So the event I was wondering what happened did fire off. If Hungary joins, that could be a problem. Then again, and Italy is already dealing with Germany and France, so Czechoslovakia would probably crush the Hungarians, assuming, of course, they're not too busy dealing with the Soviets. And Yugoslavia can't join anyway. Or rather, they can't be attacked, specifically. I do apologize if it seems like nothing happened. It's just... I expected this to go a bit faster, shall we say. Like... What I had planned this around going was that during the Ulster conspiracy, there are three possible outcomes. One of which Hitler are getting assassinated, you already saw. The second and was the event failing. And the third was Hitler's assassination succeeding and Germany breaking out into a civil war. I was hoping for the third one, but alas, the second one was what we got. If the third one had happened, I would have probably seen everyone focus on Italy. Admittedly, I could have just ensured that I had agents boosting democracy and destabilizing Germany the whole time, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, I cannot coup Italy the same way I couped Germany, since they're too stable, even with bombing runs. Come to think of it, I have more. I have been making more bombers. Still, I did learn more about the plane design. Oh, I can actually make more fighter wings. Wait a second. Is Italy not attacking Greece? You know what? Since they're not doing anything, I think I can count it as a partial win. So yeah, I'm gonna say the stream is a draw. I will let the decolonization event play end things. So, what might I end up doing in the future? Well, the first involved naming units after specific things. Namely, I'm going to steal an idea from Nags. You may know him and basically name a bunch of divisions after VTubers and use them to take out all three dictators in Europe. Maybe also take out Japan. And as well, depending on how fast I am. There are plenty of mods, and of course I also have the 1939 start date to try out. This is the first time I've actually seen Greece join the war, or when the Allies were in charge. Okay, too many... guns. That's where convoys are. And here I was hoping for Italy to be the one to somehow capitulate. Like, you'd think think there'd be some sort of event chain where if bit of an ironic choice of focus and in relation to what leader I have. If you would have preferred it if British Malaya had left, but could have sworn there was... Ah. At midnight today, the long-awaited transfer of full sovereignty for the various subject nations of the British Empire was accomplished. Despite the British government's invitation for former subjects to join the Allies, many have chosen to go their own way. The move continues to be controversial domestically, but is greatly applauded by socialists internationally. What weakness this has caused for the United Kingdom's position in the world remains to be seen, as does the situation of those nations who elected to go their own way. The future was inevitable, so we have made it the now. And like that, I'm choosing to end the stream here. Not as successful as I wanted, but somewhat successful. I'm Andreas Warbel, and I will see you on the next assignment.